So you know those places where things just don't seem to be going right in your life and you keep making yourself wrong and you're putting yourself down. You can't seem to become more aware, stay aware, figure out what your purpose is, why you're here, what's going on, or any of this. Like, what is all of that? What if it's not you that's the cause of the problem there? What if that's evidence that you have interference in your life? So welcome back to program number 2. This is 2A. Are there energies interfering in your reality or in your life? And the answer is, if you're alive on the planet, yes. Whether that's an issue or not, or whether you're aware of it or not, is a personalized thing. It depends on what your neurochemistry is like. Some people's neurochemistry is such where they hear them and they see them and they know that they're here. And other people, their neurochemistry, they're a little bit luckier, or it's just better. And they're not aware of them so much, yet they're still at the effect of them. And so regardless of whether you perceive them or not, what if there are these energies that, just being alive on the planet, you're engaging and interacting with, and not all of them are necessarily beneficial or benevolent, yet we've been conditioned to pretend they don't exist. We've been programmed that, oh, I don't see them. I don't know what you're talking about, Jaden. I can't hear you. I'm not listening. We've been programmed to not talk about them, not listen to them, not see them. And as a result, there's all kinds of magical creatures and all kinds of really cool things in this planet that the average person pretends they don't see. But little kids see them and they understand them. And you can watch animals, cats, dogs, they'll be watching something walk across the room. They know there's stuff here, and the humans are like, oh, there's nothing here. Because we've been conditioned to not pay attention to this. So in this program, I want to kind of bring up, how do you know what these things are? And then later on, we'll explore with, if you want to perceive them more, how do you go about doing that? But in this program, how do you know if there's energies interfering with your life? Well, here's some of the indicators that these things are up, or these are places where you've experienced interactions with them. Interference is this energy that gives you excuses for not going to the gym when you know you want to. It's the energy that has you forget that you're on a diet. You totally space out and you eat all kinds of things that you've decided you're not going to eat. It's the energy of things that have you addicted to foods or activities or drugs or anything that you aren't beneficial for your body, but you can't seem to stop. It's the energy behind procrastinating. When you have something that you want to accomplish, but you keep bumping into this wall and you can't seem to move forward. What if these energies are not you? What if it's an external energy to you that's actually blocking you or preventing you? If you're in a place where you have friends that are abusive to you, and there's still some part of you that looks at it and goes, well, this is my friend. And you're like, well, wait a minute. They're abusive to me, but I still think they're my friend. What is that? This is this interference. It's the energy that has you love cruel family members. You've got those family members who they're just nasty. They're just plain out nasty. But you love them because you're part of your family. Right? What is that? That's interference. It's also the negative thoughts that make you feel wrong and bad and stupid and useless and incapable and I can't do anything and there's nothing right about me and my whole life sucks and I'm stupid and this is dumb. All that. It's that energy. Interference, and I'm using this generic word to cover this whole group of energies. What they do is they manipulate your thoughts. They can manipulate other people's thoughts. They can manipulate what other people in your reality say. And their sole focus, or one of their sole focuses, seems to be around getting you to take actions that cause you to kind of mess things up in your life. Interference is the energy that creates resistance to your beneficial action. It's anything that you're trying to move forward in and make work for you. It's that energy that's in your face or that's up that you think is you that's stopping you. What if it's not you? And we've been conditioned to think that these energies are natural and they're normal and that everything is like, oh, good about them. But what if it's not natural? And what if it's not normal? And what if it's not coming from you? So let's check it. So, truth, how much is this resistance natural and sourced from inside of you locally? Just feel the volume of material there. And truth, how much is this resistance artificial and come from something else foreign or at a distance? Wow. So, which one feels lighter? Which one feels more expansive? Which one has more content or more information? How much is resistance natural and sourced from inside of you locally? Like, it's your fault. You did it. It's your problem. And how much is resistance artificial and come from something else foreign or at a distance? Now your brain goes, what? Foreign at a distance? I feel it in here. Like it's messing with my... Yeah, I get it. But it reads as foreign at a distance for a lot of people. And the more aware you are, the more you're like, yeah, this isn't me. This isn't mine. And what if, for most people, it's actually the second answer? It's dominantly the second answer. So there's this energy that's non-human, and we'll talk more about it later in the program, but I want to do it in an empowering way, not in a way that messes with you. But what if there's an energy that's actually a corruption of the natural energy on this planet? And civilizations have talked about it for thousands of years. All religions refer to these energies. All traditional tribal cultures have practices and have belief systems about what these energies are, how to neutralize them, how to appease them, how to make them happy, how to make them go away. Like, it's not like nobody knows about this. Yet we've been in this space where we've been programmed, especially in the modern era, to not think about it. But it's actually in the modern culture. So take a look at this image here. I love this. And it's the classic image of the angel sitting on one shoulder and the devil sitting on the other shoulder. And they're both talking to you and they're both trying to convince you to take some action. Like right there, that's an icon. That's programming in our culture that tells you up front that there are these energies. They're going to attempt to manipulate you to the good and to the bad. And if you watch program 1, you already know that that's a trap. You already know. You're like, wait a minute, Jaden. The good, bad thing, there's something up with that. Mm-hmm. And if that's news to you, go listen to program 1, and that will make more sense. What if it's not about listening to the correct voice? What if neither of those voices care about what action you take? They're actually trying to prevent you from listening to your voice. What if you have this inner quiet voice, your inner knowing of things, and these voices are trying to distract you from your inner knowing and your connection and alignment with the truth of you? They don't care what side you choose. They just don't want you to listen to you. They don't want you to do your thing. They don't want you to step into your purpose and what you're here to bring and share to the planet, your gifts and capacities. They want you to do stupid things. They want you to do things that are not fulfilling, that are not nurturing for you. They want you to have the family members that are abusive. They want you to skip going to the gym. They want you to not do things that help benefit you or take you to a better space. What if those energies are part of our culture and we've been acculturated that they're here, but we're at the same time acculturated, I don't see them. I don't know what you're talking about, Jaden. So how do you know if you have this interference in your life? Well, I've already said that you do, and everybody does. But some people have it here in small amounts, and some people have it here in larger amounts. Most people, however, think that there's not much of it. That, yeah, I've got all these normal people, these humans that I interact with, and every so often I get a little weird energy, but for the most part, there's not much in my life. And for some people, that may be true. For most people, they think that, but it's not true. So I'm going to have you check it. So truth, allow yourself to perceive what are all the living human energies that you interact with on a typical day. And just feel that. Okay? And then what are all the invisible, interfering, or exploitive energies that you interact with on a typical day? And which one is bigger? Which one is a bigger pile of information? Everybody's a little bit different, but for many people, especially if you're on a path of awareness, the second pile is really freaking big. And you're like, wait a minute, what is it? The average person on a typical day has hundreds or thousands of different energies that waltz through their life or hang out and attempt to dissuade you or get you to do things that are not necessarily beneficial for you. And how do you know? Jaden, get to the point. How do you know? If you're making yourself wrong a lot, you have these energies in your life. So here's how let me frame it. When you're not being interfered with, you almost never make yourself wrong. You just feel good about you. You feel good about what you're doing. You're having fun with your life, and you have fun with what you're doing. And your body is in a quiet, peaceful, easy space. That's an indicator of a lack of or minimal interference. When you have more interference, you're in the space of constantly making yourself wrong, putting yourself down, and your body feels uncomfortable. And your life is unpleasant. And you can call it whatever symptom you want, but if your body is unpleasant and uncomfortable, you likely have these energies in your life. Why? Because these energies are a corruption or an inversion of the truth of this reality. So you have these corrupted energies. Some people would call them evil. I'm not going to call them evil. I'm just going to say they're corrupted. So there's the native, natural, nurturing process of this planet, and then there are energies that seem to oppose that. And in some cases, they're actually literally an inversion, an upside down, completely inside out version of the energy here. So when they're not in your life, you just feel natural and you feel good. When they're in your life, you feel wrong and you want to put yourself down and life just sucks. And that's their energy. That's their signature energy. That's their native frequency hanging out in your space. It's like when you're all by yourself hanging out and somebody who's really sad or depressed walks in the room, even if they don't say anything, you just start to feel sad or depressed. Or a really happy person walks in the room, even if they don't say anything, you just start to feel happy. Same. When you have these corrupted energies come into the room or come into your space or come into your body, even worse, you feel that energy, and because you're not acknowledging it as something separate from you, you think it's you. And that's the benefit here, is the more you can become aware of it, you can go, wait a minute, there's something in my space. When you think it's you, there's nothing you can do about it. You're like, all right, this is my life. What do I do? When you're all by yourself and you're quiet and all of a sudden you feel something meander in and you recognize, you're like, no, out. You don't belong here. Go somewhere else, right? And you have choice. You can do something different about it. So the first indicator that I want to alert you to is how much are you putting yourself down? So let's check that. So truth, how much are you putting yourself down? Very little, occasionally, or all the time? And everybody's in a different place. And what if that's an indicator of interference? So truth, how often is interference in your life? Very little, on occasion, or all the time. Now, we've got energies that kind of brought up. So let's do some clearing around this. So what is everything that's upper active? And there's just a pile of energies, and we're just going to push those outside of your body's energetic space. So somewhere in the distance in front of you, push all those energies in a pile. And we're going to encapsulate them like in a glass ball or in a glass sphere, and they're encapsulated. And now allow yourself to perceive what are all the energies that are blocking or obstructing consciousness or awareness here or around these energies? And what is all the unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, energy fog, disinformation, cloaking, Wernicke's commands, booby traps, covert, unseen, unacknowledged, undisclosed, unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, untouchable, undetectable energies and frequencies around all of these topics. And all that in the pile, inside that enclosure sphere and seal. And now let's have to perceive all the energies from down below, in the pile, back behind, way out front, from the left, from right, inside, outside, everything remaining on that pile, and encapsulate. And tell your body out loud, body, let that go. Not you, not yours, not you, not yours. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And for some of you, you're working with a planet as well. Tell the planet, let that go. Not you, not yours, not you, not yours. You have permission to let that go. So body, planet, you have permission to let that go. Not you, not yours. Let it go, let it go, let it go. When you do that, you'll just feel it kind of like easing away. That's your body letting go of your body's part of it. And then there's the infinite being part. Everything remaining that we have encapsulated, can we just keep shrinking that down until it's less than nothing? And this is where you say, yes, I choose that. Yes, I choose that, if you do. And then just imagine that half that size and half that size again and half that size and half, until it becomes so small, ceases to exist. It's just gone. And then anything we missed, we're going to incinerate. Big balls of flame. All out. We'll just have some fun with it. So truth, how often is interference in your life? Very little. On occasion. All the time. And there's no right answer. It's what's true for you. And just kind of get a feeling for that. And as we progress, your awareness about this will increase. So again, how do you know if you have this stuff in or around your body? Again, the best way to tell is by how your body feels. Your brain can be manipulated or programmed, or your brain could be in one reality completely separate from your body. And if you've explored with the New Age movement, you know what that's like. Your brain is in love and light and everything is wonderful, and your body feels like crap, and you're like, why is that? I'm in love and light. I'm with all these wonderful light beings. Maybe not. There's another program in that called False Light. You want to take a look at that one if that's going on for you. But your body is always going to be this authentic indicator of what's going on. So even if your brain is in, oh, my life is great, everything's wonderful, but your body's like, oh, I feel like crap. If body's unhappy, unhealthy, feeling depressed, hopeless, confused, or things feel just impossible to change, you probably have a lot of these energies interfering around in your body. However, if your body feels happy and healthy and your life feels fun and fulfilling and you feel inspired and you just feel good, you probably have less of them interacting in your life. And so connect into your body. Like, your body knows, do you have more of this stuff or do you have less of this stuff? And we're typically prone to think, well, we're better off ignoring it. Well, yes, Jaden, I have this stuff in my life, but it's better just to ignore it. I don't want to put attention on it. And that's what this reality programs you to do. What if the things that you ignore you can't change? What if the things you don't put attention on you can't do anything about? What if when you're willing to look at them honestly and really see what that is? Oh, I have a demon in my life. Well, I guess I can do something about that. if you don't look at it, all of a sudden you've got some energy in your life and you go, oh, I don't know what that is and I shouldn't be looking at it, and oh, it's probably me and I probably did something wrong and I'm bad and I'm horrible and I just shouldn't even be here. I don't deserve to exist. That's what it feels like. Like that's the energy of those beings. When they're in your space, you start to feel that way. And if you're not allowing yourself to perceive that it's not you, that it's something else, then you can't change it. You can't do anything different about it. So what if you can only change what you're aware of? And what you're not aware of can manipulate and control you, and you can't do anything with it because you can't. You've been programmed. Take a look at this image. I love this one. The three wise monkeys. Honestly, that's what they call them. The three wise monkeys. Hear no evil, see no evil, and speak no evil. We're not going to hear about evil. We're not going to allow ourselves to see evil. And we're not going to talk about anything that's evil. And if you don't hear it, see it, or talk about it, you're a wise monkey. Ooh. Yeah, well, if your goal is to be a monkey, then maybe that'll be useful. If you want to be a wise human, I don't recommend that you kind of take in that program. But that's the programming from this reality. It's conditioning you. It wants you to not hear them, to not see them, and not to speak about them or to them. Why? Interesting. What if when you can clearly see who and what they are and what they're doing, their role in your life, you have the capacity and the native instinct to change it. You'll know how to handle it by default. It's only when you're not aware of them that you don't know what it is. There's programming conditioning that we looked at in program 1. And okay, so you can clear that. And if you're not willing to look at them, they can do anything they want and you can't do anything about it. In physical reality, if somebody came at you walking down the street and they looked mean and they were nasty looking and they had a baseball bat and they were going to come after and they were coming after you, would you stand there and go, oh, they're not here? They don't exist. That's just love and light walking down the road. Probably not. You would go, even if you've never encountered that before, you would have a clue. I'm not going to stick around here. I'm going to run. I'm going to do something different than just stand here and wait for this energy with a baseball bat to come at me, right? Like, you just gut know there's certain actions to take. When you understand what's going on, when you perceive the truth of the interference in this reality, you will instinctively know how to handle it. But we've been programmed to not look at it, not see it, and to think that all the invisible stuff is beneficial, right? So there's some energies up. Let's just grab all that stuff and all that in the pile. And what is everything you decided all this stuff means that it doesn't mean? In the pile. What is everything you decided all this stuff doesn't mean that it actually does mean? And what is everything that prevents or blocks your awareness here? Encapsulate. And let's look at the polarities. So what is everything that you're aligning and agreeing with? Any of the things that I said. What are the things that you're aligning and agreeing with any of it? We're just going to clear all the polarity. We don't care what side it's on. What is everything that you're aligning and agreeing with? What is everything that you're resisting and reacting to? What is everything that you're defending for? Is everything you're defending against? Righteous for. And that's interference. Righteous against. That's also interference. And all that in the pile. Just bulldozer. And encapsulate it so it can't run away. And everything from down below. In the pile, back behind, up above, way out front. Everything from the left in the pile. Everything from the right in the pile. Everything from inside your body in the pile. Inside around your space in the pile. And encapsulate. Seal it up. Can't run away. And planet and body, let that go. Say it out loud. Planet, body, let that go. Not you, not yours. Never was yours. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Not you, not yours, not you, not yours. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. There we go. And can we shrink everything remaining down to less than nothing? Yeah, I choose that. And half, 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 till it's so small, gone. Incinerating. So majority of people assume that the energies that are interacting and co-creating your reality are beneficial, are benevolent, are there to be helpful, and are friendly, and are generous, and are kind, and they're there to hug you and give you all these warm fuzzies and rainbows and butterflies and all that cute stuff. And it may have been like that when you were younger, but have things changed? And what I notice for a lot of people who are on an awareness path is things have changed dramatically. Like that, the non-physical players that participate in their reality have gone from leaning towards more beneficial and more benevolent to less beneficial and more malevolent. And how much of that is related to the shift in the planet and how much of that is related to just the process of awareness, that's variable. But what I invite you to do is to actually check what's true for you. And take a look at this graph. This is what most people assume. Most people assume that most of the beings here are butterflies and rainbows and happy things, and only a tiny sliver of things are bad. And you do a pretty good job of ignoring those, and they go away, and it's so great. Yeah. What I've found for people who are aware, it's actually closer to the opposite of that. That the number of beings that have a hidden malevolent intent, and they may pretend on the surface, they may have a facade of, hi, I'm here to help you. But when you feel behind what's going on or who's controlling them or what the agenda is that's actually behind that or how they engage in your reality, you start to notice, this isn't working out so well for me. And as you start to assess that and pay attention to that, you start to notice there might be more energies participating that are actually not benevolent, that are actually malevolent. And what I noticed is that there's a high percentage of energies in this reality that pretend to be kind and caring and helpful. And they pretend to want to enlighten you. And they pretend to want to share information with you. And they present themselves as these evolved, enlightened, beneficial, non-physical energies from Pleiades or all these different wonderful places in the universe. And they're enlightened and they want to share with you things. Or they're these non-physical energies that are here to help you in your life. Like there's all kinds of different facades that come up. But when you go back and look at who or what is behind and controlling them, who or what is behind controlling them, go back 7 levels and notice how that feels. If you go back 7 levels and it still feels good, cool. You've got a benevolent energy that you're interacting with. You go back 7 levels and it's like, that agenda that is operating that facade is not benevolent anymore. There are so many energies in this reality that have become corrupted, and they try to keep their dark side hidden from you. And as long as you're unaware of that, you're in relationship with these energies that are like a Trojan horse. They're presenting one thing to get in the gate, to get you to connect with them, to feel that they're valuable, to establish a relationship. And then the nasties start to come out. And then the weird things start to come out. And they may come out abruptly or they may subtly start to invade your reality. But as you explore with that, you find that their agenda is not always what the facade is or what the Trojan horse was that presented itself originally. And unless you allow yourself to become aware of that stuff, how do you know? That's part of what this awareness process is becoming more aware of all of that stuff. So what is everything that hides or prevents your awareness of beings that are pretending to be one thing and actually are something else? And just feel all that stuff in the pile. And what are all the points of view that you have about the energies that you interact with that are not actually, well, let's look at it this way. Allow yourself to perceive all the points of view that you have about the energies that you work with. And where is ever that you're aligning and agreeing with those energies? Where is ever that you're resisting and reacting to them? Where is ever you're defending for those energies? Where is ever you're defending against those energies? Where is ever you're righteous for those energies? Where is ever you're righteous against those energies? Notice it's not just all clean and simple. It's tangly. All that stuff in the pile. Those are all the things that don't let you see what's actually going on. And now allow yourself to perceive what is everything you decided all of those beings and energies mean that they don't actually mean. Well, and if you understand them clearly, then there's no information there. Like, you just get it. And if there's a lot of information that's kind of like, ugh, then there's stuff that you're not seeing that is probably not necessarily to your advantage. And what is everything you decided all this stuff, all these beings and energies don't mean that they actually do mean? Ooh, a lot of information there. And any information here that's not to your benefit in the pile. And what is everything blocking or preventing awareness here? All the unconsciousness, the anti-consciousness, energy fog, disinformation cloaking, Wernicke's man, booby traps, covert, unseen, unacknowledged, unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, untouchable, undetectable, covert, unseen, unacknowledged. I said that. Unknowable, unspeakable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, I am all in the pile. Encapsulate everything from down below, back behind, up above, left, right, inside, outside, everything remaining. And body encapsulate. Body, planet, universe, let that go. Not you, not yours. Let it go, let it go. Never was yours, never was yours. Let it go, let it go. Tell your body out loud. Let that go. Not you, not yours. Planet, let that go. Not you, not yours. And can we shrink everything remaining down to less than nothing? I choose that. Half, 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 half. Vaporize, incinerate. Anything remaining, gone. So let's check it. So allow yourself to perceive what are all the beings that you know or feel to appear to be benevolent. And just allow yourself to perceive that. Or grab one of them. Grab one energy that you just know is good. You know is there to help you. You know is there to help you. Okay? And you can call them up or you can just imagine their energy. And now allow yourself to feel the surface energy. And then go back to who or what is behind or controls that. And feel that energy. And who or what is sourcing or behind them. And who or what is sourcing or behind them. And who or what is sourcing behind them. Who or what is sourcing or behind them. Who or what is sourcing behind them. And if that still feels good to you, if interacting with that energy there, the 7 layers back, still feels good to you, cool. A lot of people talk about angels. Picture some angel that you have worked with or currently work with. Okay? And now, if you're willing to look at it, now they don't want you to look at it. There's this energy of, no, don't look back behind there. Don't look back behind the curtain. Don't see what's really going on back there. What if that's not you? What if that's their energy because they're trying to hide something? But as an infinite being, as an aware being, we just look. My interest is not in defending my point of view. My interest is in knowing what's real or true for me in my reality. So that's why I invite you to look at what's real or true in your reality. So allow yourself to perceive an angel that you have or currently work with. And feel the surface, the front, what displays up front when you interact, the facade, I'll call it facade, what interacts with you. And now, who or what sources are behind that? And who or what sources them or is behind that? And who or what sources them or is behind that? And who or what sources them or is behind that? And who or what sources them or behind that? and who or what sources them are behind them. And you can keep going. And you want to prove it, you keep going. Who or what sources behind that, and sources behind that, sources behind that, and see where that goes. And how does that angel feel to you now? That's the agenda that's controlling that energy. That's the agenda. It's almost like many of these beings are like puppets that are being controlled. And you just get the surface level of that puppet, but there's the hand that's inside of that, and then there's a hand that's inside of that, and a hand, and there's these layers of control or sourcing that could be like you see it in this reality of a corporation that presents itself as being, oh, we're here for families and we're here to help you. But when you get behind there, it's kind of corrupted and icky and it's not what it appears to be. And you feel that, but you don't necessarily know what to do with it until you're willing to look back behind and see what's going on. That's what I invite you to do for all the energies that you interact with. Go back and see what's going on back behind. So let's just check in general. So truth, allow yourself to perceive what are all the beings participating in your life that have a benevolent intention, that have an authentic, kind, caring, and unselfish agenda. Allow yourself to perceive the truth of that. Just the volume of those beings. And truth, what are the unseen beings participating in your life that have a hidden or malevolent intention or have deceptive, controlling, or hostile agenda? And perceive the magnitude of that information. And which one is bigger for you? And everybody's different, but that's where your awareness is. If that second pile is lighter, bigger, more substantial, you have more malevolent energies participating in your reality than benevolent ones. And so this is really the core of this whole concept around these non-physical beings. You can't see them, and so it's not necessarily obvious what their agenda is, and in some cases their agenda may have changed, where when you were a child you could have a being that came in and was actually very helpful, though in most cases I would argue they probably weren't as helpful as you think they are. They presented themselves as helpful, but again, there was something probably behind that, but you'd have to check each case individually. But when you look at what's happened in your life or in this reality, there's a level of corruption that has occurred behind the scenes that may have taken something that may have been benevolent, authentically benevolent, to something that is now so corrupted that all you have is the memory of what it used to be, and you keep interacting with that being from the memory of what it used to be. But when you look at the truth of who they are now, it's not the same. It's like it's been switched or changed, or it's just kind of a surface facade, and what's behind that is, ugh. Yet you're still in relationship with those energies. And as long as you're still in relationship based on the old agreements and based on the old viewpoints and stories of that, you're not engaging what's real or true. You're engaging a memory or a history of your past. And it's messing with you in the here or now. So my invitation is to keep going back and keep looking at what is actually going on now. And so just check it. Who or what is behind that? 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 Who or what is behind all of that? So if you've been on an awareness path, you've likely been feeling this stuff your entire life. Whether you've understood it or not, whether any of it has made sense, you've been able to perceive these other energies that have been co-creating, participating in your life, and some of them may be benevolent and helpful, and some of them maybe not. And because we've been so conditioned to look at the maybe not side, don't look at it, don't think about it, don't hear it, don't see it, that is exactly the area that we want to focus on. And that's what this program is about. How can we invite you into safely and gently opening your awareness up in a way that empowers you to create change. Because if you don't allow yourself to perceive these guys, they can still interact in your world. It doesn't stop them. But once you can perceive them, all of a sudden you now have the capacity to do something different, to change it into something that isn't you feeling like you're going crazy anymore, because you have these energies interacting with you and you're meanwhile pretending it's not happening. So you have to be blaming yourself and putting yourself down all the time. And that makes you go crazy. Once you can see them, you're like, oh, well, there's an energy over here that's messing with me. I'm going to do something different with that. I'm going to change that. You stop putting yourself down and you start changing the situation. If you want to take this deeper and you want to look into it in a more gentle way, there's this great book that I recommend called The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. And when I found this book, I was like, wow, it's not just me going crazy. He talks, what I talk about is interference. He talks about is resistance. And here are some of the key qualities that he has. And in the ebook, I go more in depth here, and his book goes into great depth. He's looking at it from the standpoint of an artist, or as a writer. He's a writer, but he's looking at it as somebody who's seeking to create, who's being blocked. And what he's noticed is that all people who are trying to create come up against the same, what he calls resistance, I'll call interference. And he breaks this down. He says it's invisible, it feels internal, it feels insidious, it can't be reasoned with, it's consistent, it just keeps going, it's universal, it's all over the place, it never sleeps, it's fueled by fear. The more you're in fear of it, the more it has control over your reality and you have less control. It only opposes improvement. If you're trying to not do anything, it doesn't stop you. It only gets in the way of growth. It recruits allies. It'll bring in families and friends to get in your way and mess with you, or strangers or bosses or coworkers. And it's most powerful at the finish line. When you're right at the point where you're trying to finish a big project or achieve something or become more, they get more involved. And he talks in great detail not in alternate world way, just basic day-to-day mundane stuff, how you can see these energies. So if you're not sure, is Jaden kind of going crazy here? Is he off the deep end? Read this book and you'll start to see it in your day-to-day life everywhere. Anywhere where you're trying to make forward progress, these guys show up. And if you're trying to become aware, that's making forward progress. And so, yeah. So my invitation for you is, one, you're not going crazy. Do allow yourself to become more aware of this. Don't engage materials that are fear-based. Useless. It just takes you to the wrong place. I will never be taking you into fear. I'm always aiming to clear fear and dance around that and clear the constructs that create that. My objective is to empower you to perceive this and become bigger than the interferences, so that you can out-create. You can create more than, or create around interference, or even just as we do, clear it. And so it's just not interacting with you anymore. So do at least look at the further detail of this. This is an ebook which you can download, and the link is down below, and it's free. Please download that. The more you have a mental understanding of what's going on, the more you can change it. And that's what this is about, is how can we change your reality, your world, to empower you to be and do what you came here to be and do, and not to be struggling and stuck in all the stupid crap that seems to try to prevent or limit you from being and doing what you came here to be and do. So if you find these information and these resources have been valuable, please share this with other people who you think may be. Let them decide whether they're interested or not. A person will totally know. If they're not ready, they'll be like, ooh. And if they're ready, they're like, oh. So please share this with other aware people who you think may or may not be, and let them decide. If not, they'll just ignore it and whatever, no harm done. So in our next program, to be, who or what is this interference? It's like, who are these beings? Like, what is this? This is the stuff that most people are like chomping at the bit. They want to know, like, this is the juicy stuff. So in program 2B, I'm going to name names and lay things out. So let's go play in 2B and see, like, what is actually going on here? Who are these players? And how can we change this?